Just a couple of weeks ago, it looked like this year's playoff race might be a bit of a snoozer. All of a sudden, we've got upsets. We've got chaos, and things are getting a little nutty. They're getting a little nutty around the holidays. We'll catch you up on everything. We have all the playoff pictures with our very own Steve Kornacki with a beard named Matthew Hamilton. How about Luke Kuechly, future first ballot Hall of Famer? He better be, because that's how I introduce him every week. How about the Panthers? They get a win. They don't know how to win. They won. Little Bryce did his thing. The Cardinals basically knocked themselves out of the game yesterday. They tried every way to lose. Can the Panthers do the same to Tampa, coming off a loss? We got to figure out everything going on in the NFC as well. I haven't quite looked at it. We'll do it together. Commanders, Eagles. What a freaking game that was. And NBC Sports superstar, the young Noah Eagle. The people who don't think he's young. We're going to dig into all of it fresh off the call of Texans Chiefs on Saturday. He is calling Ravens Texans on Christmas Day for Netflix, starting a new tradition for years to come. What a weekend. So much to get to. So grateful for Noah Eagle. So grateful for Luke Kuechly for joining us. He'll have his genius play of the week. We'll get into things. We got a big one tonight. Saints, Packers, two teams I love. What's going on with those two? We'll dig into everything. I don't know if I've ever heard Chris Collinsworth. Let's start with last night. I don't know that I've ever heard him as worked up as he was last night. Cowboys defense comes up with two of the wildest turnovers I've ever seen in that fourth quarter to knock out the Bucs, who were sitting there in first place in the NFC South. Dallas now 4-1 in their last 5. They have a chance to cause more ruckus in the playoff picture against Philly next week. And Mike McCarthy, he has his guys laying it all out there. Pay attention. Everyone wants to talk about McCarthy. They were officially eliminated earlier in the day. They were playing for nothing but disruption, but Joker, I want chaos, agent of chaos stuff, okay? And when you listen to Jerry, it really does seem like there's a chance we see this regime stick around. More on that later. As far as the NFC playoff picture, things are shifting big time. Bucs lose, combining with the Falcons win over the Giants. What does that do? By the way, with Michael Penix, that puts Atlanta back on top of the NFC South. And away we go. Snowflakes and all. If the Falcons win out over the Commanders and the Panthers, they're in. Tampa still a favorite over on FanDuel Sportsbook, though, at -135 as of this morning. Hamilton, you can pop in here. I'm doing a little maestro. I've got my little wand.
I was going to say, Kobe Turner over here.
We go. I feel like I could have done this for a living. Da, da, da. But there's chaos. There's none of this. There's things shrieking, things are out of order, and things are up and down. I appreciate you because last year you were really keeping me squared up on. People think those tweets were not coming from me. Those tweets were coming from me asking Hamilton, what does this mean? What is this going on? What's carried the one? Which way is the wind blowing here in the NFC? We'll get to it. And, yeah, Mike McCarthy's probably going to be the coach.
It does seem that way, yeah. And they're fighting hard. Cooper Rush has played well. As you said, they've won 4 out of their last 5 games with Cooper Rush now.
Rams, let's keep looking at this. So the Rams, they get a win over the Jets, right? Seahawks and Cardinals lose yesterday. What's L.A. to win the NFC West on FanDuel Sportsbook?
They are now -750 to win the NFC West, and they can lock things up next weekend. All they have to do is beat the Cardinals, or Seattle has to lose at Chicago. Even if neither of those things happen, they still have a chance to lock up the West in Week 18 if they beat Seattle.
What would I do without you? At Up and Adam Show, guys, with your questions. Hamilton, I'm actually thinking about this. We should do on your Twitter just a Q&A. Because you felt a little bit what it's like yesterday. You put something out there, it's like, that's not going to happen. And you just say, no, no, no. AD is also how you say Adrian Peterson. That's just what it is. So this Eagles-Commanders game, I would say if there was a power ranking of like you and me texting the most, it was that. It was that situation. What a fun one. I mean, Cardinals-Panthers was great too. But the Eagles lose to the Commanders. What does that do? It drops their odds of getting the 1 seed, guys, down to 7%. Not great, but I think they're going to be okay. I would not freak out if I'm the Eagles. Big to lose the 1 seed potentially, but the Lions still sit atop the NFC. If the Vikings beat the Packers next week, it means their Week 18 battle, people, in Detroit is going to decide not only the NFC North, but also home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I want to dig into that one. Thanks, Hammy. Talk to you in a minute here. Noah Eagle, Luke Kuechly on the show today. Let's dig into the Commanders' big win here for a second. Dan freaking Quinn. He has changed. I mean, it's not just him, but he's not getting any love for changing the culture. He's got to get the Coach of the Year love here. They overcame even just this huge game against the best team in the NFL. The Eagles were the best team in the NFL. They overcame a double-digit fourth-quarter deficit and 5 turnovers to take down the Eagles, who, of course, had issues on their own, their quarterback, all of that. They get to 10 wins. They're double-digit wins there in Commanders land. They move 1 away from clinching a playoff spot. Let's listen to the person I'm happiest for. I'm happy for everybody. Magic, I'm happy for you. Adam Peters, I'm happy for you. Cliff, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for Terry McLaurin.
To win this game when there was a lot of ebbs and flows speaks to the resilience and the culture that we're building here. And so, like I've said in the past, if you want to look at a culture being built or what it stands for, it's easy when things are going good, but when there's a little adversity, that's when you get to see the true character of a group of people. So I thank God that I'm living my dream, because this is everything I've ever could imagine.
Terry came on our show a couple months ago. I got to say, out of all the storylines this season, it's hard to not get a little Christmassy about this. This is like that, not sad in that Chevy commercial way, but just sort of hits you. It tugs you right here, like the Apple AirPods. I'm so happy for him. This new regime has given the organization its best start to a season since 1991. That's the last time Washington won a Super Bowl. And of course, Jalen Hurts leaving the game made a huge impact yesterday. We're sending our best to him. Hopefully he's feeling better this morning and throughout the week here into the playoffs. That happening does not take away from what Jaden Daniels was able to do. Do you understand? The Eagles put up 33 points. They had the lead late. Jaden just picked apart this #1 ranked pass defense down the stretch to win the game. 5 touchdown passes. No one else has thrown for more than 2 in a game against Philly all year long, okay? He wasn't perfect. There were some mistakes along the way, as there should be, and he'll learn from them as he does, poised, mature AF. But the mistakes are what makes this win and this performance even more impressive to me. We've seen all year Jaden's got this ability to shrug it off. No situation too big, no lead insurmountable. It's almost like he feeds off of this kind of stuff. So that's a win for him in any situation. I think there's this perception that existed around turkey and gravy time, around Thanksgiving, where Washington hit what I call a lull. Some people call it a rough patch, whatever you want to call it. Are they going to get in the playoffs? What's going to happen? If they get in, they're going to be one and done, if they even make it. I don't know that you can watch this game or really any game in December. Let's just be real. And the way that Jaden plays on the biggest stage, in the biggest moments, and honestly believe that they'll be a one-and-done team. Like, it's absolute, I call BS. I'm going to reverse Uno on you and say, look at yourself in the mirror. That's not the case. And Hamilton, to wrap this up here, Noah Eagle, Luke Kuechly on the way. Like, where's the bag of popcorn for what will be round 3 of this?
Yeah. We need it. After yesterday, I mean, that was one of the most fun games of the year. You were tweeting about it. We talked about it as soon as the trade happened. The Marshawn Lattimore, A.J. Brown battle was super interesting. A.J., had the better end of that for the most part, but it was chippy. It was everything you wanted in that post-Mike Evans-Lattimore era. This is going to be fun.
Is Lattimore okay?
It's a hamstring injury. I haven't seen any updates.
But it's the same thing that kept him sidelined, right? That's the same. That's not good. This is why Adam Peters makes this thing. And one of them's going to win. The other people were not happy that I was saying it was the new Mike Evans. Yes, it is. It's a battle royale. Like, all I want is tumult and chaos. Yeah. And you have these two. And I love seeing it. And then you got Smith more open and other guys. I love everything about the Marshawn thing, and I hope he's okay for round 3. Sign me up. We should talk a little bit about Jake Elliott, because I'm seeing a lot of it on Twitter. I look at Twitter, I see the tweets. I know that Elliott hasn't had as dominant of a regular season as maybe you'd feel comfortable with. He did hit 4 out of 5 yesterday, and the tweets were rolling in about he's washed, he's this or that. The dude hit a 50-yarder, okay? He gives you the lead. He missed a gimme. Let's not forget that he's been a perfect 16 for 16 in the playoffs. Hard to maintain, but he's been the best in the playoffs for you. He helped you win the Super Bowl. I kind of get the concern, but when it comes to something that is so, not niche, but like he can put 3 up and take 3 away and like really swing the thing of a game, and it's a very, I don't know what the word is, like sensitive. Like you don't want to get into, don't be good to him. Rally around him. There's no point. You're not helping by dragging your quarterback, or not quarterback, your kicker and your quarterback on socials, on whatever. Like, let's just like be like, he's got this. We're good. I hate seeing
that. And you got to hope. I mean, the biggest worry was he was 0 for 6, I think, on 50-plus yarders before he hit that one. But you got to hope that gets him going. A go-ahead 50-yarder in the fourth quarter. You can't ask for much more than that.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about them. I think they just lost the 1 seed, which absolutely sucks, but they're going to have to bring it, and we'll get hopefully good reports on Jalen as they come. But I loved AJ versus Marshawn. Sign me up for round 3, and go Commanders. Love to see the turnaround. And it stands as this Christmassy beacon of hope for all the Jags and Bears and, you know, whatever fans. Like, it can happen. You just need, you know, new ownership, all-world quarterback that doesn't remind you of anybody else because he's one of one, and a coach who, like, everyone wants to run through a wall for just those few things. And you too, you too can change how you're looked in the NFC East or in the complexion of the NFL. All right, I want to flip over to the AFC side of stuff, right? Saturday, I was at Arrowhead. Noah Eagle's coming on the show. Somehow I didn't get to meet him because he was too busy doing an amazing job calling this thing. So the Chiefs hold on to their 2-game lead for the 1 seed. Bills come back over the Patriots. Got a little tricky there in the beginning. It keeps them alive in the race, all leading up to Christmas Netflix action with a 1 seed in play for Kansas City. But the Chiefs wrap up home field on Christmas Day if they beat these Steelers, who are reeling to stop that from happening, coming off a loss. If that happens, the Ravens will have a chance to take over the AFC North, people. They get a win over the Texans, late afternoon, Beyonce. They are then favorites, or they're actually now favorites, to take the division at -160, as you see here. The chase for the last wild card spot, guys, this is the game. This is as big as it gets, okay? You got the Bengals, Colts, Dolphins. They all somehow stayed alive. I was trying to warn you. You're trying to book your trips to Cabo. Nope, you got to stay and watch these games, people. If Cincy can beat the Broncos next week, it comes down to Week 18 absolute bedlam. Okay, let's take a look. The Bengals, they have the longest odds of those 4 teams at plus 1,120, which is insane. But I do need to talk about them and what went on yesterday, because it's hard to find words for Joe Burrow and what he is doing right now. From the very jump against Cleveland, it was magical. Okay, is he responsible for the drones? Is he the one that's like wheeling and dealing? He's an alien. He's absolutely like not of this earth. Not just pulling off a 99-yard drive like you're seeing the first time he touches the ball, but finishing it with the Superman throw. He's on another planet, from another place. Do you understand? Hard to play the position better than he has this year. If you look at this was Joe's 7th straight game with 250-plus yards and 3 touchdown passes. No one's ever done that before. If you look at this list, 4 first ballot Hall of Famers, and he's topped them all, okay? So I see the tweets. I know Dan's doing heavy lifting over there on Get Up in the morning. Shannon, you're a goat. Can we talk, Shannon? What's the problem? He's crushing it. And by the way, Coach Lou, hat tip to you this morning. The defense really stepped up, and they made a ton of big plays. It's all coming together. Nobody wants to face them. I think the Bengals win next week. I love Sean Payton, Bo Nix, all of it. They're going to make it interesting. I'm not even going to get into whether it was too little or too late or any other ramifications until that little E is by their name in the standings, okay? I'm going to enjoy the ride, as all Bengals fans I hope we're doing this morning. And I'll say this, if you're the rest of the AFC East, you're going to lose if you have to face them in the playoffs. So let's get ready to see some real chaos in January. Let's do this. A quick break. We will bring in Luke Kuechly in a bit, but how about this? Noah Eagle, busiest man in sports. Honored that you're taking a couple minutes to hang with us. Love it. Man, Bengals at Broncos. Bengals Broncos is crazy. Where's that game?
That one is. Hold on.
If it's in Cincy, it's going to be hard for me to not go to that game. It's going to be hard for me to not go to the game.
It is in Cincy.
Oh, shit. That's one I'd like to go to. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So I was in Kansas City. Didn't get to meet Noah Eagle. I mean, if you're me, as you imagine, I strolled in real late. Like I strolled in like as action was happening. He'd probably been sleeping over there.
Of course.
At Arrowhead, where it was freezing, but the sun was out. Didn't complain about the cold at all, which I thought was a huge personal win for myself. But I was there with Madden. They had their first ever EA Sports NFL NFL cast. Ocho Cinco and a friend of the show, Kurt Benkert, were on, and I got to be this lunatic running around the field, Hamilton, talking to the Xavier Worthies. By the way, Xavier Worthy got the Kay Adams bump because he went out there and scored a touchdown and looked great. They didn't move his.
We have some videos, by the way.
They didn't spin. I don't want to lay out for them. If we have B-roll, that's fine. Yeah. So this is me.
There we go.
There's Worthy, and you know who got him for me? McCole Hardman.
What a guy.
What a guy.
You love McCole.
McCole's great. He seems super healthy. He's happy. He's blessed. He's got 2 little kiddos now. I was blinded by all of his jewelry that he was wearing. McCole, he looked amazing, as always. D-Hop was dialed in. The crowd was going crazy for Hollywood Brown, who obviously is what a difference maker, which you and I called.
Yeah.
But this got to be me. I was the most popular girl on the field. I'm not kidding. All I need, I can adjust your Madden ratings. Amazing. But thanks to Peacock and Madden for having me. It was an amazing experience. And now I have this idea, Ham. Sorry, I'm not talking. I've had too much coffee. I want to be like the player advocate. Because Chad has to be like.
I like this.
Hammer. And
yeah, he has to take a hard and fast line.
I'm like, Chris Jones should be 100. What are we doing here? So I want to be that person. And I think
Screw 99. We're going up to 100 now. Yeah. And honestly, it was so much fun to watch too. I was going back and forth between it was a really cool way to present it. You get that all 22 view with the Madden look. Chad and Kurt were awesome. It was a really fun. Of all the alternate broadcasts, I think that was my favorite.
Oh, take that, Homer Simpson, Springfield, Illinois. Very good. Take that, Toy Story Wiener Dog. This is exciting. Can you imagine how busy Noah Eagle is right now?
I can't even. I can't.
Truly, we're lucky.
Yeah.
Derek pulled some strings, clearly. Let's do it. Okay.
I think there's really only one way to start this broadcast, start this game right. I'm thinking what you're thinking. Oh!
Are you ready, kids?
Captain!
I can't hear you!
Captain! Let's do it! Super Bowl 58 from Bikini Bottom.
It's been almost 1 year since that. Our next guest called Super Bowl 58 next to SpongeBob and Patrick and my favorite person, Nate Burleson. And now you can hear him calling NFL and big college football games for NBC Sports. Ravens Texans on Netflix on Christmas Day. Noah Eagle, welcome to the program.
Kay, I appreciate you having me. You know, SpongeBob and Patrick actually invited me back to Bikini Bottom, but they haven't bought my ticket yet. So I still don't know how to get there. I still don't know the correct route. So we're figuring it out one day at a time.
Maybe that'll be a Christmas gift for you. You and I get to work together in some capacity. There's about 25 of us, a new family. There's familial ties, of course. There's work family ties. But it'll be so exciting to sort of do this for the first time together. And no better way, by the way, to prep for a Christmas game than to call the game, including both of the teams, on Saturday, which you did. Texans Chiefs for NBC. I know the stories, you know, by the way, I loved how I was at the game, so I didn't listen, but I went back and listened. You're like, Mahomes will be fine. And of course, he comes out and he's fine. The story to me was all of a sudden he's got these receivers. Hollywood, DeAndre, Xavier. What do you make of that?
Yeah, definitely a different look. And we were at practice earlier in the week and saw Hollywood Brown and saw how they might try to integrate him. And it was a clear emphasis to get him involved. And Patrick was very clear with us as well that it was a guy he expected to have a big season. It was somebody that he felt an instant chemistry with during training camp, during OTAs, during off-season workouts that he and Rashee Rice, all the three of them together. And so they believed that Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown would be this dynamic duo out in the field. And of course, Rashee goes down and Hollywood goes down, and you have to start to figure some things out. And Worthy has to take another step and be kind of this stupendous rookie and take a quicker step forward. But it's only helped them in the long run. You bring up D-Hop and obviously a veteran who can go out there and do some impressive things. And it's come together really well. Noah Gray's had a career year, and it just feels like right now they're clicking at the right time as a core.
Got a question. The run game, something to keep an eye on Christmas?
Yeah, I'm still curious. With Joe Thuney going out to left tackle, it feels like it's kind of changed the dynamic of their run game. You know, Isaiah Pacheco is so adept at getting inside and running violently through the tackles and kind of cross that. Creed Humphrey's one of the best in the league, if not the best right now. And so with Thuney going to the outside, it hasn't quite looked the same. And so I think maybe some consistency if Thuney has to stay there, just getting comfortable with everybody's roles. But the offensive line has figured it out, all things considered, this year with the way they've had to shuffle around and 4 different left tackles. So a work in progress, but I think that as Pacheco gets healthier and Kareem Hunt continues to look like his old self, things will return to normalcy.
Kareem Hunt looks pretty good picking up some of those downs. Does your dad, who's calling, there's familial ties here. We got Watts covering Watts. We've got McCourty's together freezing in Pittsburgh with Laura Rutledge on Netflix Christmas. And you, of course, handling duties for Ravens, Texans. Your dad in the booth with, I believe, J.J. Watt and Nate Burleson handling Chiefs at Steelers kicking off on Netflix on Christmas morning, afternoon, depending on where you are. Does your dad hit you up and say, what did you see about the Chiefs? Is there any sharing of knowledge, notes?
I shot him over our meeting notes, yeah. But other than that, you know, he called me and he said, I don't want to hear anything of what you have to say. I just want to do my own game. Don't tell me. Don't influence me. Let me do my I've done this for a long time. I've done this since before you were born. No, we go deep dive. And, you know, he's seen all of these teams, I think, a bunch this year. He's basically been the voice of the AFC North, it feels like. He's done every game, Steelers and Ravens and Bengals and Browns. It just feels like he's been around. So I think he's covered on the Steelers. He just had the Chiefs 2 weeks ago, so I don't know how much he really could use my help as is, but I'll be there for any questions you might have. I
was hoping we could create some sort of competition here, an award, a special gift for who has a better broadcast, but I do want to give you some really due credit for your handling of the Tank Dell injury on Saturday. I don't know that there's a right answer, a way to prepare for that, but what is your approach when those really tough, emotional, real human moments happen on live TV?
Yeah, okay, well, first of all, I think the question I've gotten the most, you played the Nickelodeon clip in the beginning. I know you were part of the Madden cast this week. The alternate broadcast injury has to be the most difficult situation in broadcast. Because everybody said to me, you know, if the Damar Hamlin situation had happened on Nickelodeon, what would you have done? And I really don't have an answer. I really do not have an answer off the top of my head. It's all reactionary. And so even in the traditional standard broadcast on NBC, the tough part of this situation was he made a spectacular catch for the touchdown and held on. And so the energy levels have to be so different, and the shift from high to low has to be quick, but also you have to give the play its due diligence. And I felt we did that. We called the play as it was, called the impressive touchdown, and then quickly shifted to what was the major concern, which was the injury. And to be honest, when you saw the reaction from C.J. Stroud and really the rest of his teammates, it wasn't difficult to try to match that emotion.
It was a really well-done moment by you, and we're still waiting to see what's going on with Tank Dell's injury. Of course, wish him all of the best. But it was one of those few times that the internet was like all together and kind and empathetic and really did give you credit. What's your relationship like with Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it. I definitely look through it, and I wouldn't say that I'm obsessive over any of it. I don't really post a whole lot. I'm just not. I never have been a big poster. It's just not my thing. I think a lot of people are always asking to see a peek behind the curtain. I think you do a really good job of that. I think a lot of people in our business do a really good job of that. It's not really what's at the forefront of my mind as I get ready for a broadcast. I just try to do whatever the task is at hand. But I definitely look at it and make sure that I keep up to date. And a lot of times, a lot of people are very positive, which is very kind. And there are some people that aren't, but it doesn't really get to me. And I think that's always the biggest concern for anybody. And a lot of up-and-coming broadcasters ask me how to handle it, and I say the same thing. You can look at it, and there are times that you can take something that might be constructive to improve your craft or improve something else about your overall broadcasting aura. But a lot of times you just have to brush it off and laugh it off. And I've had some funny ones over the year. I had a couple years ago, I did an SEC football game, and it was a blowout, and we had Gene Steratore who came on and was breaking down a touchdown play. And we asked what his Thanksgiving plans looked like, and he said he had a traditional Italian Thanksgiving. And I did a really bad Tony Soprano impression saying, "Oh, time for turkey sandwiches." And somebody said whoever did that Tony Soprano impression needs to face the North Korean justice system, which I thought was genuinely hilarious, because I was picturing in my head going to North Korea, having them say, "What did you do?" And then I had to say a bad Tony Soprano impression for an SEC audience.
That's it. You know, you're a pro. You seem to handle Twitter and all that comes with it the right way. It's impossible to ignore, because so much of it adds to the narrative. Some narratives are now storylines that you're using in calling a broadcast start and are incepted, and you know, adds context and color throughout the week. I loved this tweet. I was obsessed with like your Twitter mentions and stuff last night. Just, did you ask him, did his dad ever record an argument between both of them, and does it sound as amazing as it does in my head?
Yeah. Or when he would come home and be like, "Clean your room." And I go, "Denied." And then he goes, "Crossed over, broken ankles." Yeah, so it was a lot of back and forth between the two of us. And eventually it just reached, I think, him saying, "Iraq attack in his bedroom. No made bed." And it was just over at that point. So yeah, it's a lot of who can top the other one, no doubt.
It's amazing. I do want to say, oh, sorry, we have to move to Netflix. I wanted to talk about how people think you're like 60 years old. Is that the question you get asked most likely? What age do you think your voice sounds?
I don't know. I guess it's a lot of whiskey. I don't really know what does this.
Is that what it is? No, tell me that's true. Is it whiskey?
No, it's not. It's mostly genetics, I think. I really don't know how this happened. I'm very thankful, because it's obviously done me some good.
Yeah.
But no, it is funny. I think that it really happened more so during the Olympics this year, when Dwayne and I were doing a lot of the games, and it started to get some traction. And obviously those games ended up being great. But I saw a lot of tweets like that where we would pop on camera and everyone's like, "I did not think he was going to look like that." I think a lot of people started to think that I was maybe some kind of Benjamin Button type of disease person. So I'll take that as a victory. If I can look younger the rest of my life and sound older, that's a victory for sure. We
have to let you go. I'm so excited about Netflix Christmas with you. I know you have a production call with the Ravens today. What's the question you need answered today?
I want to know the Harbaugh Christmas traditions. I feel like that family has so many amazing traditions. I've got to get to the bottom of what they did for Christmas every year. And did they have like a hearty or who's got it better than us nobody on December 25th every year? That's my first question. For sure.
I love that. Congrats on all of the success. Of course, Big Ten Saturday night play-by-play announcer. You're doing it all for NBC. We've got a rematch of the game that you called between the Ducks and Ohio State on New Year's Day. You have so much going on. I'm so appreciative. Ravens, Texans on Netflix, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Favorite Beyonce song that you need to hear on our way out?
Oh, that is impossible. I'd say maybe Party. Give me Party with Andre 3000. That's a classic.
Did not think that's where you were going to go. Do you even get to watch it?
Oh, come on.
I don't know. 100%. I thought maybe you were like watching tape or like drinking whiskey for your voice or something. No?
Oh, listen, whiskey and Beyonce will be a dynamic combination.
Who's getting up to dance first, you or Greg Olsen?
No, wrong answer. My stats guy and spotter will be the first ones up, and they will be jumping around like we do in Wisconsin.
No, oh my gosh. Noah Eagle, we love you with NBC Sports and Netflix. Happy holidays. I'll see you in a couple days.
Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll have Luke Kuechly on the show after this, friend of Greg Olsen as well. Kuechly breaking down week 16. He's great, Ham. Just fantastic. Nobody was giving me cues, by the way. Somebody supposed to give me cues? Can somebody give me raps? Yeah. Jason? I know. Why didn't I get any? No, they were yanking him off. I was getting texts. Were you guys getting info?
Yeah. MH let us know. Yeah.
Oh, tell MH, sorry, I wasn't getting any.
Okay, got you.
Thanks, Derek. I was just getting that from texts.
Okay.
I could have talked to him for 30 minutes.
I know. Okay. Okay, sounds good.
What did he say when I asked him how old does he think he sounds? He said, I don't know. I wish he would have given me an age.
Yeah, I don't think he gave an
You're telling me he
exact age.
hopped out the womb talking that way? Get out of here.
The argument with his dad was funny. His dad didn't play-by-play all that. That was, yeah. No, he's incredible. He's going to be...
So the world
He's going to be a star for a
This
long
is
time.
a 28-year-old young man who 4 years ago, I think, hopped on the scene, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was,
what was his first big, like, the captivating moment? He's obviously been doing it since
that Saints. I want to say it was that Saints Bears playoff game that they did the Nickelodeon. The first time they did the Nickelodeon alternate broadcast. I want to say it was that game.
So he's
but
doing
yeah, I remember
this, then Christmas, and then he's turning around and doing a Big Ten. It's the championship?
The college football playoff.
The college football playoff.
But yeah. But he's done the primetime Big Ten game all year on NBC.
Stud.
Yeah.
Him and Greg Olsen are going to crush.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Because I love, he doesn't take it too seriously. Obviously, like in the big moments, he knows how to be serious. But I love, like, he injects a lot of fun into the broadcast, which we love.
Mm-hmm. He was great.
Apparently, he's going to call a game with every single one of Luke Kuechly's fellow coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. I know. I wanted to do some crosstalk. I didn't realize we had short time with him. Did you? Did you guys tell me that?
Yeah,
Hey! Panthers football looks like that. We didn't have any turnovers. No! Hell no! Could they run the ball in the second half? Hell no! You shut the run game down. You force them to pass. We knocked the ball down. We got after the quarterback. That's team football right there. That's team football.
My next guest, a 5-time first-team All-Pro linebacker, Panthers radio analyst, future Hall of Famer, smartest man in football, Luke Kuechly. Way to win. Atta baby. Let's go. Victory Monday.
Yeah, it felt good. I mean, the last couple of weeks we played really good ball, and then against Dallas last week, the game kind of got away from us. But I'll tell you what, the offense did a great job, and the first drive of the game was kind of the epitome of how the game went. Last week we were driving down the field, playing really well, converting on third down, had good bounce, and then we fumbled on that first drive, and then the wheels kind of fell off. We had 4 turnovers, we threw 2 picks. Bryce fumbled twice, and then this past week we come back, drive right down the field, score a touchdown, and took the lead for the first time in a long time. And I think the best thing for us is we were able to stay in the game with the lead and really lean on that run game. That's what we do. That's when we're at our best, is when we're able to run the football and lean on that offensive line and give the ball to Chuba and let him work.
Loved that Chuba at the end there, because that's the question, like, can they finish? Can they win? Cardinals did everything to lose this game, of course, but I thought they might win at the end. Now they're eliminated from playoff contention. I'm thinking about Bryce, who sarcastically I call Lil Bryce, because everyone just wants to give him such grief for that, even though he's crushing it. 3 total touchdowns in this one, no turnovers. He got back on the field in week 8. What is the one thing that you've noticed about him from then to now that gives you a lot of confidence?
Well, he's playing inside the pocket a lot more than he did early in the year. And obviously yesterday he was able to scramble and extend some plays with his feet. Obviously scored the big rushing touchdown. But his ability to stay in the pocket, deliver a great ball. This ball to David Moore was unbelievable. Unblocked guy off the edge, drops it in the bucket, doesn't flinch, know he's going to get hit. I think he trusts that offensive line a lot more than he did at the beginning of the season. And then on this play, this is just, to me, what everybody has talked about with Bryce when he came out of Alabama. Accuracy, understanding, anticipation, and then just toughness. And then there's Bryce, that smile that we've seen that we hadn't seen a whole lot in the beginning of the year. And then this right here, just puts his shoulder down. He's a yard short of the first down, puts his shoulder down and runs right through the defender. So for me, Bryce kind of showed a little bit of everything yesterday. The touch to David Moore, the anticipation, the toughness on this play and on the third down when he got hit across the middle. I like Bryce, and that smile that he's shown the last couple weeks is what we need to see from him that we were missing pretty much all last year. And this year he's having fun, again, playing football. And when he threw that ball to David Moore, that ball where he dropped it in with pressure in his face, you should have seen the excitement and the attitude of him looking over to the sideline to Idzik and Dave Canales. It was like they had talked about that play during the week. They got it during the week. They knew there was going to be free rusher, and they practiced it, and it happened. It's so good to see.
I'm happy for you.
Me too. I am too. I'm happy for those guys. I'm happy for Canales. I'm happy for the fans. I'm happy for Bryce. And I mean, I think a lot of this year is I'm happy for Chuba, really more than anything.
Really?
Yeah, he came in and, he learned from Christian. He sat behind Christian. And then last year, I don't know if Chuba's our guy. And then we signed Miles Sanders, and Chuba just keeps his head down, works extremely hard, gets paid, and then just has a career year is over 1,000 yards. And the last touchdown to win the game, there was 2 unblocked defenders off the edge, and he ran through both of them, scored the touchdown to win the game. It's just so fitting that Chuba's the guy that goes and does that. And I say it all the time. I wish we had 53 Chubas. If we had 53 of those guys, it'd be a really good football team.
We want 53 Chubas for Christmas.
I want 53 of those guys.
I love
53
that.
attitudes
I don't know that you
like
need
that.
53 Chubas to play spoiler to some of these teams in the NFL. You already did it to the Cardinals after last night. Let's take a look at this. There's like a dead heat in the NFC South, my friend. Whoever wins the division has to go through the Carolina Panthers with 1 Chuba, who's just as good as 53. Let's take a look at the Bucs and Falcons schedule as you see them here. They both play Carolina in the final 2 weeks. Who do you think, Luke, the Panthers match up better against?
I mean, we took Tampa down to the wire a couple weeks ago. I mean, we had them in overtime, weren't able to finish that. I'm very excited to see the Panthers match up against the Atlanta Falcons now that Penix is in the game. Obviously, you had the one sample size yesterday, played really well. I don't know quite what to expect from them with Penix in there versus Baker. That offense, there's 2 running backs, big Mike Evans, Cade Otton, those type of guys. We kind of know what to expect versus Atlanta. Are they going to be a different team with Penix behind center?
Did you watch much of Penix? Did you see what he sort of presents?
I mean, he looked really good. He played with a ton of confidence. That ball was coming out. He was ripping it. But just the confidence for a young guy to stand in the pocket, to go through his progressions. I think the one thing that has helped him a lot is he sat behind Kirk for, the better part of the season. He's a 24-year-old guy. He's mature. And then he's got really good guys around him. I don't think he tried to do too much. I think the thing that's important for him is when the ball was able to go down the field, he stepped into it with confidence and threw the ball. And then when nothing was there available downfield, let me get the ball to Bijan Robinson in the flat. And that's the biggest thing, I think, for offenses is make defenses just tackle you. The easiest thing for a defense is when it's an incomplete pass or a throwaway. The hardest thing to do is when the ball's in space with a guy like Bijan Robinson, you got to go tackle him.
He was throwing some lasers to Mooney in London.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun to watch. Okay, so let's keep it going here. I want to get to the Commanders and Eagles because those are my 2 favorite games from yesterday. It was very fun to watch. I know that you were on the call for Carolina, but, I mean, the Commanders end the Eagles' 10-game winning streak. This is the best team in football, in my opinion, and kind of everybody else's. Jaden Daniels, they put up 36 points. What was working?
I think the confidence that he's playing with right now, and they don't flinch. I mean, they had 5 turnovers. They were down in the 4th quarter. This 4th and 11 right here is the game changer with him. His ability to just run away from angles. I don't think guys understand how fast he is, and I think that's the big equalizer. Is obviously he's great throwing the football, but his ability as a runner is what separates him. And I think it's. I always thought about this with quarterbacks. These quarterbacks that don't run 40s at the combine, you never really know how fast they are until you get out there on the field with them. And it's a scary thing. Is he 4.6 or is he 4.4? And I think he's closer to a 4.4 guy. And for his ability to sit back there in the pocket and deliver from the pocket with a lot of success, and then when the play breaks down, he has the confidence in his legs and his athletic ability to go make something happen. He had that big 4th quarter or that big 4th down run that extended. It got him within 1 score, and then he had a big conversion there on the last drive of the game where they went up. So he's just he's so dynamic with the ball in his hands, and I think that's the big equalizer. When he's able to break the pocket and scramble, it's difficult to get him on the ground.
Anything to worry about with the Eagles? I mean, Jalen, of course, leaves the game. Hopefully he's okay. I'm sure you would tell him, don't rush back, figure your stuff out. Hopefully he's healthy. We're waiting for reports on him. Anything maybe even just defensively? I mean, it's Fangio's unit. They're crushing it. But they got yesterday.
I mean, 36 points is a lot, but, you know, they forced 5 turnovers. Obviously, Jalen Hurts being out hurt them. I wouldn't overreact with that defense. They've got plenty of really good players. I think the biggest thing is they got to score more points off turnovers. I mean, that's more of an offensive stat, obviously, but if you're a defensive unit and you force 5 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles, and you score 13 points off of it, I think that's an issue. And their guys got to stay in the game. I think Gardner Johnson got the boot early in the game. He's got to stay in the game. Your best players have to be on the field when it matters.
Are you doing something different with your hair, Luke?
No. Does it look bad? I need a hairdo?
No, it looks really good the past two weeks.
Thanks.
I'm just kidding. Are you doing something different?
I got a haircut. I had to go home for Christmas, so it was looking a little messy. I had to go get a haircut.
No, you got like a little like comb over kind of like it's going. It's different.
Little swoop.
Got a little swoop going on. What's with the swoop?
There we go. A little Christmas swoop.
A little Christmas swoop. What's Christmas like at the Kuechlys?
So Christmas Eve, everybody on my mom's side comes over to my mom's house. She cooks up a big dinner. We hang out. We'll probably see what happens in the evening. Henry, my younger brother's always got a good plan for us. Usually we go to church and my parents put on dinner. Everybody comes over. Then Christmas Day, wake up, do gifts, have breakfast. And then we go over to my aunt's house, and that's my dad's side of the family. So we've got an action-packed next 2.5 days here.
Do you like go out with Henry to the bars there in Ohio and just hang out? Like, how does that work? What's it like when Luke Kuechly's home?
A lot of hanging out at the house. I go see my family. Both my brothers are in Cincinnati. I got an older brother named John. He's here. He'll be over probably tonight and tomorrow night. And then Henry's my younger brother. So a lot of hanging out. Last time we were back in Cincinnati for Thanksgiving, we watched some Bengals football on Sunday. So a lot of hanging out at the house and just taking it easy.
I love that for you. All right, let's talk a little stocking stuffers here. Here's what we're going to do. Santa Luke, brother of John and Henry, you give us the gift of great analysis every week. So before the holiday, I would like you to give us your top 3 defensive stuffs of the weekend.
Well, Matt Judon and that Atlanta defense were playing really good football yesterday. Obviously, they had the 2 pick sixes. Jesse Bates had one. Matt Judon had the other. So those are right off the jump. Those are pretty good. Just pressure in his face. Matt Judon makes a fantastic play right here. Takes it back. That was just 1 of 2 scores. Obviously, it helped Penix in that defense or on that offense score. And then the second one, Jesse Bates, was a big touchdown. So I mean, those 2 plays I think really set the tone for that Atlanta offense. Hey, we don't have to score a ton of points. We just can't turn the ball over. So Judon and Jesse Bates with that Atlanta defense scoring 2 touchdowns on the defensive side of the ball were big game changers for him.
I love that. What's there's Von Bell, Ardarius Washington. Do you find those interesting?
Yeah, I think the Ardarius Washington one was huge. You know, the game's kind of up and balance for those guys, and it's just, you know, Russ Wilson isn't a guy that typically makes a lot of mistakes here, but he's able to get around the ball and pop it out here. This is an absolute game changer for him. It takes points off the board, and you know, at that point, it's going to be 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. Ball pops out, changes the game right there, and obviously Lamar Jackson's having a fantastic year. I mean, he's been all over the place, but that play by Baltimore and those 2 plays by Atlanta Falcons were big game changers for them.
I love that. Vikings, they get this huge win over the Seahawks. 4 minutes left in the game. Sam Darnold hits Justin Jefferson. It was a 39-yard touchdown. It was a phenomenal play. I want you to look at it, and just from like a Luke Kuechly defensive perspective, what makes the throw so impressive?
Well, I just think he's not set. He's moving forward. His feet aren't set. He throws a rope to Justin Jefferson, and I think that's something that doesn't get talked enough about with Sam Darnold. Just arm strength and athletic ability, and he's got the opportunity now. It's a too high shell, and he throws it in there right between those 2 defenders. It's a fantastic play, and everyone's going to say, oh, you know, it was a lucky throw. Justin Jefferson's down the field. Let me just throw it down there. But I think he trusts his arm. He trusts his athletic ability. He understands if I rip this ball in there, the safety's not going to be able to go over there. But at the end of the day, I mean, got one of the best receivers in the NFL, and just give him a chance to go up and get it. And that's a big part of what Minnesota's been on the offensive side of the ball, is Sam going out there, ripping it, playing with no fear. I think they've always talked about with Kevin O'Connell is just giving Sam opportunities to use his athletic ability and arm strength. And, you put the ball near 18, you always got an opportunity to win.
I mean, Hamilton and I were talking about it all morning. It looks like it comes down to the Vikings and Lions for the 1 seed in the NFC. There's 2 weeks to play. If we could just size up the race here, who do you think has what it takes to be the stronger team for the final 2? And let's look at their schedules. I think we got them here. There you go.
Well, I think it's going to come down. I think whoever wins the division is going to have the edge in the playoffs. Obviously, they're both going to be inside games, but I think the crowd noise at both those stadiums will definitely have an impact. But I think the Lions have just a little bit of an advantage right now, being in the playoffs last year, going to the NFC Championship game. They understand what the playoffs are like. I understand that they're banged up. Obviously, Liam McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson and Alex Anzalone and that defense are banged up. But the Lions' ability to score points in bunches, I think, is a huge deal. It doesn't sound like David Montgomery, his injury is going to be a huge deal either. I think he's going to be back, hopefully, first or second round of the playoffs. So I think really just based on, playoff experience, I'm going to give the edge to the Lions right now.
All those teams are great. The NFC North, the fact that it's like this division is crazy. You're in Cincinnati. You're with family Kuechly, who I imagine are Bengals fans.
Yep, Bengals fans.
You, my friend, have been the beacon of hope, the stalwart, really. I even am like, I don't know if this is you're like, no, they've got a chance. And then Joe, again, looked stupid yesterday, an actual alien with this magic that he's doing. How would you defend him? I don't know how much of yesterday you saw, but he was unfreaking believable.
His poise. I think, you look at passers in the NFL. I think he's the purest passer in the NFL, a guy that just wants to stay in the pocket. He's got great mobility inside the pocket. He throws a beautiful football. I mean, that was a great play right there. But I think for him is you got to take.
Look at that! That's so crazy.
It's so good. You got to take away Jamar Chase. I think that's the biggest thing that's really helped them out this year is Jamar Chase. And once he gets the ball in his hands, you got to be able to tackle him. We played them early in the season, and Jamar Chase was bouncing off people, running long touchdowns. Same thing kind of yesterday against Cleveland. He's like a running back with the ball in his hands. I don't think there's a great way to defend Joe Burrow. I mean, he's playing, I think, some of his best football right now. I think when you look back on the season for Cincinnati, they're going to ask themselves, what happened in the beginning of the season? We started out 1-4. If we win one more of those games to start the year, we don't have to let other teams lose. So obviously, I think they take care of business the next 2 weeks, but they need a lot of stuff to fall in their favor. I'm still on the wagon with them. Obviously, they got to go play Denver next week. They need Denver to lose twice, so they beat them next week. That's great. And then I think the real question
let's
is
take
what
a look
happens.
At the playoff picture here. I think we got it for you in the schedules. Or no, take a look at the schedules for Luke, guys. There you go. Nope, that's the playoff picture. Let's grab that schedule. There you go. What do you make of this?
Okay, so I think the Colts are a toss-up. Obviously, New York is struggling. Obviously, Miami and Indy need to lose one of those 2 games. So I mean, Aaron Rodgers playing better football. Does Aaron Rodgers and the Jets knock off Miami? I want the Bengals to win, and I want the Bengals to go to the playoffs. So I need the Giants, and I'll be rooting for the Giants and the Jags and the Browns and the Jets the next 2 weeks.
I love it. You want to erase Jamar Chase, then you just got T. Higgins making that crazy cat. Like, it's just, I don't know how you stop them at this point. Nobody, of course, wants to face them, but I gotta give you the love for it. With the haircut and the Kuechlys, like you said, Bengals, and here they come.
Yeah, I'm with them. I want them to succeed. I love watching Joe Burrow. I love Jamar Chase. I love those guys. So I hope they take care of business the next 2 weeks, and the Chiefs do us a favor in Week 18.
All right, we love you. Luke Kuechly sending you and your family all the warmth on this beautiful Christmas. Enjoy time with family. Christmas Eve church. We love it. We're going to take a break.
Right.
I think we still have Genius Play we have to get to, so we're going to get to that after this short break. Luke Kuechly, do not hang up on me. Do not hang up on me. He'll be back after this. We got to get DJ Reader on the show. I need to talk.
That'd be fun.
I was when I was at the Chiefs game. I was chopping it up with Texans line, and I was like, man, I miss Reader on this team too.
Oh,
he was so
man.
fun.
Yeah.
I was like,
And
I was like flung back to that Bucs Texans game that we went to.
Oh, yeah. With the pick six at the end.
Pick six right in the beginning. First play.
And in the beginning. Yeah, the
Jameis
first
threw a
play
pick
and the
six
last
on the
play.
first play, and it was like I remember being, for some reason, I was like on the field and I wasn't supposed to be, and I like locked eyes
Shocked.
with right after, like as he was coming off the field, Reader. I remember that. That was my intro to Reader, and it was just like.
And it's not a surprise he's made such a big difference in Detroit, and they all love him like instantly there too.
Yeah. Do you think what Noah said about Tootie being out is the reason the runners are having a tough time? I have to watch that game again.
It is tough because you have the trade-off, right? Like they did better protecting Mahomes. He only got hit a few times. He only got sacked once. Like he kind of stabilized that left tackle spot a little bit.
Yeah.
But you got to bring in Mike Caliendo at guard. He's not as strong at guard as Tooney was, so there is that trade-off with the run game.
Super interesting. I've had too much coffee, now I'm yawning. Not good, not good, not good, not good. I'd like to hear Luke and Greg in a booth together.
I know. That would be fun.
Luke's playing hard to get. What else is new? You know, everyone wants Luke, and Luke's like, I'm just going to live my life how I want to live it.
Been getting questions about Luke from Kelly's friends. Yeah.
Luke is a hot commodity. My Catholic guilt is so funny. Like I'll obviously go to church on Christmas Eve, but I won't be able to go on Christmas, and I just think it's like the first time ever I've not gone to church on Christmas, and so it's just I have a lot of like guilt hanging over my head about it. Christmas Eve, not good enough, says Basha back in Chicago. Nope. Not good enough.
You gotta be there on Christmas Day too.
Gotta be there on Christmas morning and midnight mass. Kelly's friends is actually hilarious.
A lot of questions.
I'm sure. I can't imagine. He hates this conversation. Don't worry, Luke. All right, time for my favorite part of Monday. Not for the weekly, geekly, probably pretty geekly because he sees the game a different way. I'd like to know, Mr. Luke Kuechly, what is the smartest thing you saw on the field this week?
I think Ben Johnson, we've talked about him a couple times already this year for creative and great plays. Obviously, he loves getting his guys involved. Laporta on a touchdown, but the action before looks like Jared Goff stumbling. Gibbs falls on the ground. Everyone thinks the play's over. Everyone slows down, and then Laporta just sneaks behind. How about Gibbs getting his jersey dirty on Soldier Field, and then Goff throws a great ball to Laporta. It's so funny when you think the ball is dead or when something different happens on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of times on defense, it holds you for a half second. Like, what happened? Is he stumbling? Was it a run? What's the play? You take your eyes off your guy, and as somebody sneaks right behind you, it's Ben Johnson's just hangs out and draws up awesome plays that create wide open players for Jared Goff to throw the ball to. So just a good play. They're so much fun to watch, and that's why I think they're one of my favorite teams in the NFC right now, is because they can score points in so many different ways. But little stumble from Jared Goff, little stumble from Jahmyr Gibbs. Laporta just finds himself caught in the wash and sneaks out the backside, and Goff throws it to a wide open guy. So a lot of the credit goes to Ben Johnson. I would have loved to see them practice that during the week and see what that looked like.
We get to hear Greg Olsen on Christmas Day. He'll be in the booth. We just talked to I wanted you two to get to talk to each other about your mutual bestie. What are you looking forward to? That's a really cool thing for Greg. Yeah,
I mean, he 100% deserves it. I don't get a chance to listen to him a whole lot, during the week with the Panthers game. So I'm excited. That game will be 100% on, and I think Noah does a fantastic job. But the connection there is Greg and Todd Blackledge both work with Noah. Obviously, Noah and Todd do all the big college football games, and then Greg's working with it this week. So I wonder how much Charlotte Christian middle school football gets talked about in that booth on a weekly basis. So We'll see if Noah even wants to talk about it. I'm sure Todd talked to him about it, and I'm sure Greg will talk to him about
There's got to be a shout out. That's what I'm looking for. I want them both dancing to Beyonce, and I need them talking about youth football. Okay, it's Hunch Time Hamilton speed round. Let's go.
All right, Luke, you're first up. Josh Jacobs' line for rushing yards is 88.5. So what's your hunch? Does he get there tonight against the Saints?
I'm going to give it to him. Obviously, Saints defense, you know, regardless of how good or bad they are, this is the ideal situation. A night game at Lambeau. It's going to be cold. Hopefully there's some flurries in the air. This is a perfect example of hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs, let him do his thing, a little play action from Jordan Love. But in Lambeau at night in December, hopefully a little cold and snow, perfect opportunity for Josh to just carry that football.
Don't you want to talk about the grass, Luke? Doesn't that make you happy? I never see you light up quite like when you talk about what the grass conditions will be.
It'll be a little bit, cleat selection against Lambeau late in the season is huge. It'll feel good pregame, and then as the game goes on, the ground gets a little bit soft. So experience goes to Josh Jacobs understanding the ground, and might be a little slipping and sliding from the Saints late in the game.
And there is a 40% chance of snow tonight, so we'll be on the lookout for that. Jordan Love had the Toyotathon sweater on this morning, Kay. How many touchdowns do you think we see from him tonight in this game?
Oh, man. Let's take a look do we have a full screen for this? Jordan Love touchdowns?
Let's bring it up.
Let's see this. I think we see him throw 2. No Kamara for the Saints. Packers have the ball a lot tonight. Whether or not, guys, I think Jordan picks up a couple because the Saints pass defense, not the best. They miss Marshawn.
They definitely do. All right, let's bring up the full screen. Luke, I'm going to start with you. One anytime touchdown scorer from tonight from either side.
Oh, man. I'm a big Tucker Kraft guy. This is a perfect game for him. He's built for this. The cold weather. I just love late season Lambeau, cold at night. You can see them breathing.
Luke wants to play so
Crunchy
bad.
grass.
Oh man, this is when you want to play at Lambeau Field late in the season, cold.
No.
Yes.
You're
That's
insane.
football. On
Gosh.
grass, outside. They're gonna be playing that bang on a drum all day as Jordan Love throws a touchdown to Tucker Kraft.
You're not one to talk about drums. You break drums. What do you got, Hamilton?
All right, Kay, your turn. Anytime touchdown scorer in this game.
Oh.
Either side.
Saints pass defense, not great. Love them. They're getting cooked out the slot all year. I'm going to go Jaden Reed here. Jaden Reed, lock it in. Jordan Love, there we go. Luke Kuechly, Merry Christmas to you. Enjoy tonight's action and all the best. Thank you.
See you guys. Merry Christmas.
You're the greatest. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Cutest.